12th to the 10th, World Waltz Medley.
Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though the lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark clouds shining. Turn the dark clouds inside out till the boys come home. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Keep back and smile, smile, smile. It's a while you're a Lucifer to light your flag to the smile boys, that's the sky. What's the use of worrying? Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Keep back and smile, smile, smile. There's a long, long trail a-winding into the land of my dreams, where the nightingales are singing and the white moon beams. There's a long, long night awaiting until my dreams all come true, till the day when I'll be going down that long, long trail with you. Underneath the lantern by the barricade, darling, I remember the way you used to wait. 'Twas there that you whispered tenderly that you loved me, you'd always be my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marley. Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel, we've got the blues on the run. Sing boom tarara, bring out the song of good cheer. Now's the time to roll a barrel for the gangs on ye. Sons of the sea, all British born, sailing every ocean, laughing foes to scorn. They rebuild the ships at last and think they know the game, but they can't beat the boys of the Bulldog Green who made old England's name. Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves.
Curator 25 seconds in a space inserts, medley of colours, production number 83018841-3, take 1, recording date 11 to the 10th, 88.
silly quarrel the other day. Oh, these pretty flowers, chase them loose away. Wrap up some red roses for a blue lady. Send them to the sweetest girl in town. And if they do the trick, I'll hurry back to pick your best white orchids for her wedding gown. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow when the world is free. Red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too.
Listen with your eyes, listen with your eyes, sing everything you see. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me.
Red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. When the deep purple falls over sleepy garden walls, and the stars begin to flicker in the sky, through the mist of a memory, you wander back to me, breathing my name with a sigh. In the still of the night, once again I'll hold you tight. Though you're gone, your love lives on when moonlight beams. And as long as my heart may beat, lover will always be here in my deep purple dream. You're on your own gray bonnet with your blue ribbons on it, while I get strolled up into the shade. And through fields of clover we ride off to Dover on a golden wedding day. Yellow bird, up high in banana tree. Yellow bird, you sit all alone like me. Better fly away in the sky away, picker's coming soon, pink from night to noon, black and yellow too, like banana too.
25 seconds, inner space inserts in the gloaming, production rate 301 88 4104, take 1, recording date 12th of the 10th.
In the gloaming, oh my darling, when the lights are dim and low, and the quiet shadows falling, softly come and softly go. When the winds are sobbing faintly, with a gentle unknown woe, will you think of me and love me as you did once long ago? In the gloaming, oh my darling, think not bitterly of me. Though I passed away in silence, left you lonely, set you free. Oh, my heart was crossed with longing. It was best to leave you lost here, best for you and best for me. It was best to leave you lost, best for you and best for me.
Twenty-five seconds, inner space inserts in the gloaming, production number 8301 88 4104, take 2, recording date 12th of the 10th, 88. 25 seconds, inner space, insert, speed your journey, production number 83018841-5, take 1, recording date 12th the 10th, 88. 25 seconds in the space insert. Speed Your Journey. Production number 83018841/5. Take 2. Recording date 12th of the 10th. 88.
Speed your journey, my thoughts and my longings. Speed your journey to mountains and valleys, where the sweet scented air breathes a fragrance. All the home that we knew long ago. To the waters of Jordan bear greeting, to the down-fallen temples of Zion. Oh, my country, so fair and so wretched, oh, remembrance of joy and of hope. Golden halls of the prophets, oh, tell me, why so silent ye hang from the willows? Once again sing the songs of old land. Sing again of the days that are past. We have drawn the conversation and have shared the dignity of repentance. Oh, inspire us, Jehovah, with courage, so that we may endure to the last, so that we may endure to the last, so that we may endure to the last, may endure to the last.
"25 seconds in inner space inserts. Extracts from songs from the shows. Production number 8301884106. Take 1. Recording date 12th of the 10th.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. You get word before the show has started that your favorite uncle died and gone. Talk about your mom and pa parted, you're broken hearted, but you go on. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Yesterday they told me you would not go far. the dressing room they hung a star. Let's go on with the show. A pretty girl is like a melody that haunts you night and day, just like the strain of a haunting refrain. She'll start upon a marathon and run around your brain. You can't escape. She's in your memory by morning, night and noon. She will leave you and then come back again. A pretty girl is just like a pretty tune. We joined the Navy to see the world, and what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Pacific and the Atlantic, but the Atlantic isn't romantic, and the Pacific isn't what it's cracked up to be. We joined the Navy to do or die, but we didn't do, and we didn't die. We were much too busy looking at the ocean and the sky, and what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Atlantic and the Pacific, but the Pacific isn't terrific, and the Atlantic isn't what it's cracked up to be. They tell us that the Admiral is as nice as he can be, but we never see the Admiral, because the Admiral has never been to sea. We joined the Navy to see the girls and all the sea. Instead of a girl or two in a taxi, we were compelled to look at the Black Sea. See, the Black Sea isn't what it's cracked up to be. Sailing, sailing home again to see the girls upon the village green. Then across the foam again to see the other seas we've never seen. Beyond the Navy and off the loft, all the jokers out to do the sailors' hornpipe, and they showed us how to tie a sailor's knot. But more than that, they showed us the sea. We never get seasick, sail in the ocean. We don't care to feel an emotion. We're not seasick, but we're awful sick of sea. Won't you play a simple melody like my mother sang to me? One with good old-fashioned harmony. Play a simple melody. Musical deep, and set your honey a dream, and won't you play me some rag? Just change that classical nag to some sweet, beautiful drag. If you will play from a copy of a tune that is jumpy, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rag. Music and deep, and set your honey a dream, won't you play me some rag? Just change that classical nag to some sweet, beautiful drag. If you will play from a copy of the tune that is John, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rag. In your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it, you'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade. I'll be all in gold.
25 seconds, inner space inserts. The long day closes. Production number 8301884102, take 1. Recording date 12th of the 10th, 88.
No star is on the lake, it's pale. No star is on the lake, it's pale, watch keeping. The moon is half away, through gray mist creeping. The last red leaves fall round the porch of roses. The clock has ceased to sound, the long day closes. Sit by the silent hearth in calm endeavor to calm the sounds of birth, now dumb forever. Heed not how hope believes and fate disposes. Shadow is round thee, the long day closes.
25 seconds, inner space inserts, Just a Song at Twilight, production number 8301884107, take 1, recording date 12th of the 10th, 88.
From
Next week it's Remembrance Sunday, so for the next couple of weeks Inner Space will be exploring the subject of remembrance and why it's so important for us to remember those who died nearly 45 or 50 years ago. And I'll be asking what it was about the war which enabled people to forge bonds of friendship and fellowship which still survive and flourish to this day. The Fellowship of Services is an organisation which links ex-servicemen and merchant navy seamen who've seen active service during armed conflict. Now, the movement's particularly strong in the northeast, and I'm pleased to welcome tonight members of the Fellowship Choir, including Alf Pawsey, Norman Taylor, Tommy Sanderson, and Charlie Guttridge. Welcome, gentlemen. First of all, though, I should declare personal interest here in that my father is also a member of the Fellowship and of the same choir. Thanks for joining us tonight. Alf, as choir master, tell me a bit about the Fellowship Choir and how it came to be in existence.
Well, the Fellowship Choir started long before I became acquainted with it, about 30 years ago, and it was started by Johnny Openshaw, who was well known at the time as a musician in South Shields. Later, it was the musical director was Stan Phillips, who was also an arranger of the music. And then there was a period of about 3 years when one of the choir members, Harry Maples, stood in for about 3 years and held the choir together until I landed on the scene after seeing an appeal in the paper for a choir master. And I've been there ever since and thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm really a new boy in the choir compared with some of the other chaps who are in. And they have been singing sort of happy sing-along music all the time. They're a happy choir. It's not the accepted standard of male voice choir, that the sort of stuff that most male voice choirs sing. The music is more open and jolly. But during recent years we have introduced one or two more serious items, and we have endeavoured to improve the quality of the singing and the appreciation of the music. And I think that mainly we all have a very good time and we enjoy ourselves, and we hope that a lot of other people, like old people's homes and sheltered accommodations and those sort of places, we feel that they enjoy the music that we produce. And if they enjoy the music that we produce and we enjoy producing it, then that is the perfect combination. Norman,
I understand that a lot of the music that is used in the arrangements actually date from the war itself and the prisoner of war camps. Was it Stan Phillips who did those?
Yes, it was Stan. He made all the arrangements, added one song onto another, and he formed them into medleys, which we sing today. Some of them are very lively, and a lot of the sheltered accommodations where we sing, the old people stamp their feet. They enjoy those songs.
Is it the kind of the harking back to previous times that they were happy with, or is it there's something about the choir and the kind of the mess feel about the thing?
Well, I think the songs which they know compared with the songs of today. I mean, there's not many of the old people can sing the modern day song, but they can sing the likes of the old war songs.
Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though the lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark clouds inside out till the boys come home. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Kick back and smile, smile, smile. It's a while you're a Lucifer to light your flag to the smile, boys, that's the sky. What's the use of worrying? Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Keep back and smile, smile, smile. There's a long brigade. Darling, I remember the way you used to wait. 'Twas there that you whispered tenderly that you loved me, you'll always be my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marley. Roll out the barrel, we'll have the barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel, we've got the blues on the run. Sing moon to rara, bring out the song of the cheer. Now's the time to roll a barrel for the gangs all ye. Sons of the sea, all British born, sailing every ocean, laughing foes to scorn. They rebuild the ships, alas, and think they know the game. But they can't beat the boys of the Bulldog Green, who made old England's name. Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves.
There's a story about Stan Phillips. When he was prisoner of war, he was drawing the lines on a piece of paper, and the German guard said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm going to write a score for a play that he was putting on." So the German says, "Oh, well," he says, "I'll fix it for you." So he bought him a pen with 5 nibs. So Stan was such a good bloke. Even his enemies loved him. He did, on the fact.
So Stan led the choir for...
He was the mainstay. When you go to the choir, you know, you see how many of my sections here, like, how many baritones. But when Stan was there, you just looked to see if he was there, and then you felt all right. He was so very popular.
Charlie, I know you're a soloist with the choir. What are the songs that really mean the most to you and most of the other choir members?
Well, I think the ones from the shows, actually, they're the ones I enjoy most. And I'm sure most of the boys do as well, you know.
Yeah.
It's the arrangements as well, as I see the lad said. Stan was a great arranger, you know. He's when he was in the prisoner of war camps, you know, he put a lot, because he had a lot of time to spare, and he put a lot of work into it, a lot of thought into it. And that, as a result, was so the medleys were that very good, you know.
We joined the Navy to see the world, and what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Pacific and the Atlantic, but the Atlantic isn't romantic, and the Pacific isn't what it's cracked up to be. We joined the Navy to do or die, but we didn't do, and we didn't die. We were much too busy looking at the ocean and the sky, and what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Atlantic and the Pacific, but the Pacific isn't terrific, and the Atlantic isn't what it's cracked up to be. They tell us that the Admiral is as nice as he can be, but we never see the Admiral, because the Admiral has never been to sea. We joined the Navy to see the girls, and what did we see? We saw the sea. Instead of a girl or two in a taxi, we were compelled to look at the Black Sea. See, the Black Sea isn't what it's cracked up to be. Sailing, sailing home again, to see the girls upon the village green. Then across the foam again, to see the other seas we've never seen. Beyond the Navy, an awful lot. All they told us how to do the sailors on pipe, and they showed us how to tie a sailor's knot. But more than that, they showed us the sea. We never get seasick in the ocean. We don't get the feeling in the ocean. We're not seasick, but we're awful sick of sea. Won't you play dreaming, won't you play me some rag? Just change that classical nag to some sweet, beautiful drag. If you will play from a copy of a tune that is jumpy, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rag. Music and demons set your honey a ring, won't you play me some rag? Just change that classical nag to some sweet, beautiful drag. If you will play from a copy of the tune that is jolly, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rag.
During the war, when you get a body of men, young men, various ages,
Certainly not, but we enjoy the harmony and the company which we have on that Monday night.
Do you find amongst people who perhaps weren't in the services or younger people who haven't experienced the kind of trauma and horror that a lot of people must have experienced at that time, that they, in a sense, are on a slightly different planet to you, or...
Yes, I think so. I mean, there have been times when people have talked to these young people about the war, but I don't really think they're interested.
I remember when I was young, I was 4 years old when the First World War finished. And I can recall the 11th of November, and in those days, no matter what day it was, there was 2 minutes silence on the 11th of November at 11 o'clock. And to me then, it didn't mean anything, because I didn't know what it was all about. And that was within a space of 20 years, there was another war on. Now, it's now 40 years since the Second World War ended. So that's twice as long as it was between the previous two wars. So you can't expect young people to understand what the 11th of November really means.
Do you think that the Remembrance Sunday or Armistice Day is something that will pass away?
I suppose we couldn't remember all the wars. We don't remember the Battle of Trafalgar and things like that, but we still remember. I think maybe after the turn of the century it may change, but not at the moment.
But my own opinion is that it will die out eventually, because we're all getting older, and by the time the next century comes along, there aren't going to be many of our generation left. So the remembrance part of it will not mean anything to anybody that's alive. But if it could be maintained just to remind people of the futility of war, I think that would be a good thing.
In the gloaming, oh my darling, when the lights are dim and low, and the quiet shadows falling, softly come and softly go. Will you think of me and love me
it's something you had to experience yourself, you know. I can't explain it to you or anyone else how it was, you know. It was a real special feeling, you know.
I think the conflict brought the best of people out. You know, you were all in the same boat, so you had to get stuck in together. That's what I think. And when it was all over, you went your different way.
I don't think there's any good comes out of wars, but when a fellow like Hitler comes along, you know, he's trying to take over the world.
That's right.
And you had to do something about it, you know.
Alf, in the choir, I know that you've got a song which you call The Last in the Book. What is that, and why is that so important?
Well, it's a song which we sing at our mess meetings. At the end of every mess meeting, in all the messes, they sing this song which is called The Last in the Book. And it apparently was the last in the book at the time it was used. And it is sung at the very end when everybody's had a nice evening and enjoyed themselves among their old friends and colleagues and companions. And at the very end, we cease our jollity and we sing this song, which is about love, really. It's Love's Old Sweet Song.
Just a song of Twilight, that's the original tape.
It reminds you of the times during the war when you had your memories, probably lying on your bed at night or on your palliasse on the floor, wherever you might be, or wherever you're abroad. And it brought back these memories of the times when you were thinking of home, when you were far away from home. And it's used every time that we have a mess meeting. And close the evening with that. And then we finish by singing the national anthem just after that. And it makes a nice fitting ending to every mess meeting.
And in
Earlier today, many of us devoted 2 minutes of silence to remembering those who gave their lives for our country during the 2 world wars or during some of the other hostilities Britain's been involved in this century. Tonight in a Space explores some of the sentiments of people with direct experience, both in song and personal memories. Joined by members of the Fellowship Services Choir of South Shields. They're all ex-servicemen or Merchant Navy seamen from the Second World War, including Alf Pawsey, Norman Taylor, Tommy Sanderson and Charlie Guttridge. Sunday, I'm sure, is a very different thing for you to what it is to me, as someone who hasn't lived through the war. Earlier on today, Alf, what were the things that were going through your mind as you were at the cenotaph or at the church service?
Sadness, pensive, gratitude, just remembrance. Wondering what might have been if things hadn't turned out the way they did. Thinking about particularly those near to you who didn't come back, remembering them. Just that, I suppose it's like, a bit like when you pray, you're with those 2 minutes, you're out of this world, you're with God in a way, really. Sad.
Norman, for you, did you have any close friends who didn't come back from the war?
Well, we didn't have very many soldiers who were killed in our unit. But whilst we were at church, I remember mainly the companions who have passed to a higher fellowship. And they're, at the present moment, they're getting larger and larger due to the age of all these people.
Tommy, most of your family were involved in
oh, yes.
directly in the war, weren't they?
Yes, a whole lot. Even my mother.
And how many of you was that?
Eh?
How many of you was that?
There was 5 brothers, and my sister was married at the time, like, but she didn't take part. But my oldest brother, he was a fisherman, and when he got called up, he went into the minesweepers. And I was a merchant seaman before, so I kept into the merchant navy. My brother Noble, he was joined the navy. My brother George joined the navy, and the youngest brother was called up. My mother says, well, I could let her keep 1 out of 5, but that didn't happen. And my mother was called up at the finish because she had to go fire watching. There was a fella come along called Herbert Morrison. He formed the Fire Watchers Society. So the whole family was in the war.
Now, I know that you were a merchant seaman during the war, and quite early on you were sunk.
Yeah, 1940, yeah.
What happened then?
Well, our ship was sunk. We got torpedoed about 20 to 10 in the morning, and we were picked up at 8 o'clock at night by a big American liner. And the captain of the liner, he said, I've seen you earlier on, but I didn't want to come and pick you up because in the first war, he had went to pick this lifeboat up and it turned out to be a German submarine with a sailor.
Sons of the sea, all British born, sailing every ocean, laughing foes to scorn. They rebuild the ships, alas, and think they know the trade, but they can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed who made old England's name. Rule Britannia, Britannia rules always. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves.
What kind of things were going through your mind while you're out there in the Atlantic? Was it Atlantic?
I was in the Atlantic. Well, first of all, I thought of my mother right away. That was the first thoughts. Then I just took it for granted I was finished, but we got picked up, as I say. It was, the first thoughts was my mother, they were. And,
I mean, did you find that you prayed in that situation?
oh, I prayed all right. Oh, yeah. I got, and I had a coat on, and I stuck it on there, and I just sat there. I was the last one to be picked up, and I was a bit worried. I was 20-year-old at the time. Like, yeah. It wasn't a very nice feeling.
We joined the Navy to see the world, and what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Pacific and the Atlantic, but the Atlantic isn't romantic, and the Pacific isn't what it's cracked up to be. We joined the Navy to do or die, but we didn't do, and we didn't die. We were much too busy looking at the ocean and the sky, and what did we see? We saw the sea.
In Africa, what service did you see out there?
Well, we had 3 advances, 3 retreats, until we came to the last one, which is Alamein. That was fantastic. I remember a special part of that was when we were designated to, there was a squadron of tanks, and we had to bring in the camouflage for them. Actually, they made dummy tanks, and then they would whip one of the tanks away and put the dummy tank in its place. And then they did that for about a fortnight until the whole lot. And during the day, the recce used to come across, and he used to take a photograph every day. And then after all the tanks had been whipped across to another sector, and the plan was for the Germans to cover the tanks in another area, you know, which happened. It was a brilliant move. It's fantastic.
So basically, because there was these dummy tanks there,
the real tanks were in another place.
and the Panzer Division was thinking they were
They were right opposite, you know, to hold them back, but the tanks were in another place near the coast road.
What were your worst moments during the war?
The worst. Yeah. I think it was when I'm lying on the bottom with my face into the sand, listening to Stuckers. It was a German dive bomber. It used to be a terrible banshee noise, you know. It was like a wailing. It was terrible. It's one of the most weird sounds I've ever heard in my life, you know. It used to come straight down and then up at the last minute, and they're wailing all the time. It's a terrible sound. Worst I've ever heard. Put the fear of God into me, you know.
Norman, I know you were also involved in dummy tanks at one time.
Yes, we were a deception unit in which we were attached to the Royal Engineers, and they inflated rubber tanks, and we provided the signals for the dummy tanks. We had like a little studio inside a 3-ton lorry, and it was equipped with all electrical equipment, 6 chairs, and each operator was slightly off frequency because the Germans knew that there was no unit or brigade could have these signals sent in at the same frequency. And as I say, we provided the signals, the communications for the tanks. We had problems when any shrapnel was around because they punctured the tanks and they had to be brought back. And the field where we had our headquarters, it was covered with sacking so that the French people couldn't see what was going on, and they repaired the tanks the same way as you repair the inner tube of a bicycle.
For you, what was the saddest memories of the war?
Well, the saddest memories, I think, was when we landed in the Aramanches area, is when we were going across the fields, and you saw a cross, just an ordinary wooden cross, with a helmet stuck on the top of it. Some of the people hadn't even been properly buried. This was a sad moment, particularly I'd never been abroad before.
Alf, I know you had members of your family who died during the war.
Yes.
Have you been able to visit their graves at all?
No, unfortunately, I haven't. Some friends of mine have been over to the cemetery in Sicily, and but my younger brother, who was the youngest of the family, was killed in Sicily, and those who remember Headley Verity, the cricketer, will remember he was killed in the same action. He was my brother's company commander, and my brother was quite proud because he played cricket with Headley Verity. He was killed in 1943, and my brother-in-law was on the Curaçao, which was cut in two, a cruiser which was cut in two by the Queen Mary in the Atlantic, and he was killed in 1942, and they were sad times, and I was very fortunate. I was still in this country from 1940, being on special work, special secret work, so I was one of the fortunate ones. After the war was over, things weren't as one expected them to be when they came home. There were disappointments, career-wise, things which I won't go into. But I don't think that my faith ever wavered. And I think it's gradually got stronger since then. But you know, I think my faith was probably stronger when I came out of the army, and I think it's got even stronger ever since.
Tommy, did you find yourself praying much during the war, and have you prayed much since, or is it?
Well, actually, I'm not a, what you call a religious man. I believe in God, actually. But when you're talking about the armistice, my brother was lost in the war, and I went to visit his grave last year with my sister. He's buried in Normandy. But I generally say a little prayer now and again.
How did you feel seeing the grave?
Oh, I was really upset. It was 44 years since it happened. It was such a long time to wait. And my sister, she said, I don't care if I'm left of 100, I'm going. I said, well, I'll go with you then. We went last year.
And do you think it's helped you with a kind of a grieving
I got near
process?
my brother then, because we really had our brotherly love, but it was wonderful moving. We didn't go on a trip, it was more of a pilgrimage what we went on. And it was really, deep inside, my sister and I, we felt that we were near our brother than what we've ever been, I think. Really touching.
Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though the lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark clouds inside out till the boys come home. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Keep back and smile, smile, smile. It's a while you're a Lucifer to light your fire to the smile boys that's the sky. What's the use of worrying? Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a land of your troubles in your road. Keep back and smile, smile, smile.
Johnny, what, if anything, would you want to say to younger people watching about the meaning of it all as far as the ordinary soldier was concerned? I mean, we read history books about the great plans and everything, but what did it actually mean to a guy out there in the desert 40, 50 years ago?
Well, as a young man, well, I thought of I was losing the best years of my life, you know. But it was for a cause that had to be done, something that had to be done about it. We couldn't let him go on the way he was going, Hitler, so... I mean, I did lose, as all the lads did, lose the best years of their lives. But it was for young people. Try and keep out of wars if you can, especially to the heads of government and things like that. And war's no good at all.
Often amongst the work you do with the choir and the songs you sing, I know there's one number by Verdi there. It's kind of upmarket classical. But can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, well, that's the slaves' chorus from Nabucco, the chorus of Hebrews from Nabucco, and it's something which we've just learned this last couple of years. It's just, briefly, it tells the story of the Hebrew slaves when they were in exile, and they're remembering the times when they were happier days, and they're longing to be back home. And the music and the words express the feelings of the Hebrews at that particular time.
Speed your journey, my thoughts and my longings. Speed your journey to mountains and valleys, where the sweet scented air breathes of fragrance. All the home that we knew long ago. To the waters of Jordan their greeting, to the downfallen temples of Zion. Oh, my country, so fair and so wretched, oh, remembrance of joy and of woe. Golden halls of the prophets, so tell me, why so silent ye hang from the willows? Once again sing the song of the homeland. Sing again of the days that are past. We have thrown the cup of vision and have shared the dignity of repentance. Oh, inspire us, Jehovah, with courage, so that we may endure to the last, so that we may endure to the last, so that we may endure to the last, may endure to the
Do you find that the Remembrance Sunday, in a sense, helps to contain your memories and the grief, or is it something that you regularly think about throughout the year?
Well, I don't honestly think about it during the year. It's just that special time, you know. It's a time for remembering. You know, that's why they call it remembrance. It's time for remembering. And as during the rest of the year, odd times I might, if I see a photograph or things like that, you know. But mostly in those 2 minutes when you're standing there with the last post and that, you know, it certainly brings me back, without a doubt.
Tommy, how does it affect
You seem to be at peace with yourself, you know. Everybody's in the same boat as yourself, and you're standing there remembering. My brother comes back, and I would love to know what he would look like now, what he did then. And I had 2 uncles lost in the war, tried to imagine what they would be feeling. And my aunts and their cousins and whatever. It's really a moving ceremony.
And Norman, for you?
I look forward to it very much. And it's a highlight in the year for me, one of the highlights in the year for me. I like to think of the people who aren't with us at the present moment when we're standing there. Whether it's raining or snowing, bad weather, I still go every year.
No star is on the lake, its pale watch keeping. The moon is half awake, through rain mist creeping. The light roses.